In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can do this in After Effects. I'm just kidding. How about I teach you how you can do this in After Effects? What is happening, everybody? It is your boy Sean Alami, and I hope whatever you are, you're having a great day. Now, the technique I'm going to talk to you guys about today, I've used it numerous times in my previous projects. I'm taking a beautiful sunny day and turning it into a magnificent night shot has become one of my favorite techniques to do in post-production. Now, you might ask yourself, or you might ask me, Sean, why don't I just shoot at night, right? Well, my friend, you're more than welcome to shoot at night. But when it's pitch black, you absolutely have no details in your shadows. But when you do it this way, you preserve all those beautiful details in your shadows and your night shot ends up looking just beautiful. So without further ado, let's get to it. We have our shot over here. My number one tip for you guys to begin with is to underexpose your shot when you're shooting it, maybe a couple of stops. That is if your camera has a good dynamic range and you're able to pull back up the highlights if you need to. And in this case, it was a sunny, bright day, but I underexposed my shot about a couple of stops. This way, it will allow me to not have super bright highlights. And I made the shot extra with a temperature that's a little bit colder and it's a little bit more towards the night. So the first thing I'm gonna do, this is our shot right here. I'm gonna take this out of a log look and just give it some daylight effect. There you go. This is what pretty much what the day looked like on that day. Bring up the temperature. Now we got ourselves our daylight back. Now that I have a real nice contrast in this shot that separates the sky from my object and from the flower field, then I'm taking this composition into After Effects. Now, before I really get into the color correcting and making this thing look like a night shot, one of the main steps that I apply is that I change the sky and I give it a night sky, which will give it the night effect even more. Now, we have a moving shot here, so I'm gonna have to track the camera. This will take a minute or two. I can't wait to get my hands on that M1 chip, guys. I'm sure most of you guys feel the same way. If not the M1X, if I'm lucky. But I guess we gotta wait. Okay, this thing took a little longer than I expected it, but now we are here. We have this whole thing tracked from the beginning to the back. Now, first thing I want to do is I'm going to try to create a camera here. I'm going to pick one of these points and I'm going to go create solid camera. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to move it back as much as we can. I'm talking really back, so it feels, position wise, it feels where the sky should be. Scale it up, scale it up, scale it up, like really. I would just max out these numbers as much as I can, because in order for this thing to be realistic, the sky plane has to be all the way back at the Z-axis. Yes. Okay, now we turn off the solid. We are going to bring in our sky. And we're going to bring it in, make it a 3D layer. And we are going to match the position of our solid track to our sky. Obviously makes it really small, and we are going to make it bigger. So that's that. Now I'm going to turn this thing off I'm going to duplicate our main layer, turn off the 3D tracking, and I'm going to bring in color range effect. Apply the color range effect, and this way we're going to separate the bloody sky. Then we're going to turn on the sky and put it in between these two layers, and we are going to mask the top part of the sky, so a little something like that, and we're going to feather it out like really nice. Let's just leave it at that for now, and let's try to match the color, the main two sliders that I talked about, the temperature and the highlight, and we'll take it from there. So let's go ahead and add the Lumetri Color effect. Is we are going to bring first off the temperature down, and second the highlights. You see, as soon as you do the highlight, look at the difference it makes. It just blends right in. I mean, we're gonna have to fix the hair, of course. That's gonna be a tricky one. But if I was to just kind of take away a little bit of the opacity of the sky, and then we can darken the whole thing. But I mean, we are getting pretty close. So I'm just really trying to play around with these sliders to make this as realistic as possible. I think that is pretty close, as much as I can get it. Now, one of the critical things for this effect to work, your sky needs to be point on. And in this case, I had to replace my sky with a couple of different skies to see which one really matches the best. And the one that I picked right now, I think this one really matches with the atmosphere. And if I were to go back to Premiere, I did a little bit of color grading to fit my taste. And this could differ for everybody else because we all have different taste in color grading. But this is the results that I came with and I was satisfied with. And I'll just quickly go over the ink transition in After Effects. I'm sure most of you guys know how this thing works, but I'll explain it anyways. So I have my night layer and my day layer on top, and over top of it, I have the day layer pull the Luma matte from the ink layer. I got this clip from Envato. This is not a sponsored video for Envato, but that's where I get all my stock footage from. And I took a duplicate from the day layer to separate my model from the background, and I used the color range that I had before. And the last thing that I did was to pretty much animate the opacity, kind of blend her in when it turns into night and blend her back out when it turns into day. If you want more tutorials like this, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, hit that like button. Until we see each other next time. Ciao.